It looks like President Trump's plan to make Mexico pay for the border wall is not quite panning out. So what's plan B? Make the Jersey Shore pay for it. Staten Island and Long Island. A draft budget proposal for the Department of Homeland Security includes a surcharge on flood insurance to pay for the wall. Now that's 231,000 people in New Jersey, another 186,000 people in New York, with bigger numbers in Florida and Louisiana. They have to pay more in their flood insurance to build this wall. Flood insurance is a federal program, and rates are already skyrocketing. Congressman Bill Pascrell had a press conference earlier this week blasting it. I spoke with George Casimos, founder of Stop FEMA Now.
Number one, I thought it was a joke. And number two is people are still not in their homes after Sandy. They can't afford the exorbitant rise in flood insurance premiums, and putting a surcharge for a wall that's 3,000 miles away is beyond ludicrous.
But here's what I found fascinating. If you took a map of New Jersey, the areas that were really affected by Sandy and where there was a lot of flood insurance are heavily red Trump areas. So I went to Union Beach on the Raritan Bay Shore, New Jersey, which was devastated by Sandy. Also, big time Trump area. I was surprised at the reaction I got. You'd be willing to pay for a little bit more on your flood insurance for the wall?
Yeah, I mean, now that we're elevated, we don't pay that much now, so it would be okay. But they can't go crazy with the surcharge, you know.
Gary Coleman, whose house was flooded by Sandy, says he's been waiting 15 years for the Army Corps of Engineers to build a floodgate at the end of his block, but in the meantime, he'll pay for the border wall. So you're the second person who's told me that you would be willing to pay more for flood insurance for the
a reasonable amount, not,
for the border wall.
Yeah.
I think some of the people that have this federally insured flood insurance and subsidized are happy that it's not going away, because there's also the argument to say, why are we subsidizing insurance at this high rate in areas that the private market says, what are you, crazy? It's too risky.
And part of me says any surcharge is good because you need to charge more to reflect the risk of living in these areas.
I just doubt the idea that they would be able to dedicate funds in that way. I mean, the federal government has so many issues going on that if they decide that the wall is going to go up and it's going to cost a certain amount and it's going to be, that money's going to come from somewhere anyway. I like the idea that they're talking about user fees, though. I don't know that that's the most important thing you got to do first, but to me that does make some sense.
But I would argue that the wall was why Trump was elected, so I think that people who voted for him would still support this. But it's also just a proposal. There's talk a lot about the border tax, that's going to be how Mexico pays for the wall. It talks about a lot of the gang members that are here and the drugs that are collected, that putting that back on Mexico and charging them for that's also a way for Mexico to pay for that wall. So there are other options here. I think that as long as it's built, people will be happy.